Hey everyone, Chris McDonald here, back for today's Timer Tip Tuesday, which is specifically focused on MyLaps and setting up an event start to finish. So today we have a total of 5 slides with almost no content on them because all we're going to be doing is diving directly in to the tools that you have at your disposal in between the race day suite, the RunSignup side of registration and data management, and then also with timing and scoring and MyLaps hardware. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Chris McDonald, and today the agenda is as such. We've already pretty much done the intro, but what we wanted to show you guys is a start to finish approach of setting up registration, the tools that you can use on site, and pre-event to help streamline your race directors, your athlete, and your race day experience. And I say race day in the general sense or global sense, not RunSignup's race day tools, but your actual day of when you show up. And so we'll set up the RunSignup side of things. We'll set up the race day scoring side of things. We'll set up timing and scoring, which I'm sure most of you know front to backwards. We're just going to do a very, very simple setup there. And then we'll go through a fake registration and check-in. We actually have some bibs, and on these bibs, we have our thin tags, and then we have our QR codes at the bottom. And so bear with me because I have multiple screens going, so we're going to be joggling around from this computer to a computer right over here where we're setting up all of our scoring. Normally you're not setting up registration morning of, so we're doing all of this in one fell swoop. And also we have a tablet that we're going to be in quotation marks, checking people in. So in theory, these 90 minutes, we go through an entire event experience from the back end. So we'll set everything up, we'll put people in, we'll check people in, we'll time them, and we'll have results. So and again, if you do have questions, let me know. Otherwise, I am going to go ahead and go into a live demo. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up an event on RunSignup. So if you're in My Races on the back end, or if you're on the RunSignup homepage, you can quite literally go in and create a new race. It drops you into the race wizard. I'm going to breeze through a lot of this information just because we do have a RunSignup certification process. Matt Sinclair was nice enough to put that on. I think it was a couple months ago. We do have that recorded, and we will be doing other offerings for that, for those of you not as familiar with the RunSignup backend. But the initial framework comes in, and we're just going to call this race whatever, Chris event, and we're just going to put in test info. We do ask for an address, 101 First Street. I don't know any other places in the world, so I'm just going to go ahead. I'm out of Charleston, South Carolina, so we're going to put that zip code in. It auto fills the city. The race URL, this is where you can change it if you need to. You can also buy a domain and do a lot of fancy things with domains. But we're going to go ahead and put in Chris RunSignup. Guess if I could type, that would help. You can put in your external URLs, your Facebook page ID, all kinds of fun stuff. But so right now, all we're going to do is we're going to set up a simple event. We're going to call it a 5K. And the 5K is going to be a run or walk. And the start date is going to be today. And what time is it? 12:06. We'll make this thing start at 15. We'll see how fast we can get through this. You do not have to put an end time in. If we wanted to, we could add another event. So, I mean, you can just as simply put in a 10K as well. And maybe we only want this to be a run, and we'll start it at the same time. So we want the processing fee. Again, there's multiple ways the processing fee can be paid. Most of the time it's paid by the race registrant. Oh, Steve, did I set it to AM? Oh, see, you guys are already helping me out. Thanks, Steve. I'm not getting up that early to time this fake race. So you do want to check out for AM, PM, and see, Steve doesn't believe we actually look at the notes when you guys put in questions, so I can't see what you're saying. So for a lot of your events, you are taking donations. So consider turning this on. You can also set this up so it sends an email directly to your nonprofit if you want to. And so let's see, is this your first year for the race? Yes, 100 people, 5,000 donations. And so timers. So this is really important. You want to make sure, and we're going to actually time under my Go Race Productions account. So this is going to tag me as the timer. So this gives me timer level access. And so we'll save this as a draft for right now. And so hopefully I didn't foul anything up. Nope. Let me on to the next part. And so we're on to the setting up of events. So you can set this in 5K or 3.1 miles. It's completely up to you. You can also make it a free event. You can have a different date for age calculations. For those of you that do USA Triathlon sanctioned events, if this was a sanctioned event, we would be putting in 12/31/2021 as the age calculation for this event. So just keep that in mind. That is something that you will want to calculate age off of if you're timing an event that's a series and you don't want people to age up through the series. So everybody's birthday is like day one of the series, or if it's triathlon, it's December 31st of that calendar year. I'm going to turn this off just because it might get confusing since we're just doing a simple 5K, 10K. And so we'll put in 10K here, save and continue. So registration periods, these are the price bumps as they go along. We're going to modify multiple just because we're not really, yeah, we'll make it $0 for now. So, and so it copied that to both. So if you had the same periods for all of them, you could copy it to both, and then you could change the event fees if you want to. And you can also edit the waiver in here, and you can select different ways that people sign the waiver. So if your organization has different ways of signing, you can do that. So that's all editable. So giveaways, same thing. I usually go in and modify multiple, select, and yes, most of our events are giving out t-shirts. So we'll do t-shirts. I'm not going to turn it off, and I don't need to put any additional details, and these shirt sizes are fine because we really don't care since this is a test event, but the data is in there. So we will be capturing that information. So if I want to make if I want to just choose a race logo, or you can browse and import a race logo. In honor of the tour going on right now, we'll put a cyclist, even though this is a 5K. Actually, no, we won't. That's confusing. Race banner, we can select from available banners, or you can upload your own. So whatever makes you happy. If you do want to do your own, it says right here what the dimensions should be, 1200 by 400 pixels. So just keep that in mind, and we'll save and continue. So we do have an existing payment account. We're just going to use that one, and we'll save that and go through. And so some things to do, you can visit your race website, or you can go to your dashboard. So if you go to your race website, it's going to open up another window. It's going to give you your event page. So very, very simple, $0, 5K, 10K. It's got our address. It's got a description that you can put more information into. contact info is going to be what we dropped in for the contact us, and then there's a survey at the bottom for folks. They have a number of other things that they can do up here. We can edit all of this as needed, and there's a sign up and donate. There's a big red thing that says this race is in draft mode. That's because I chose to save it in draft mode. I wanted to do that just so I could go in and update things as needed. You will need to take things out of draft mode before you go into time. And we're not taking any money, so I'm not worried about that race address. So some things that we chatted about, Matt and I chatted about in terms of things that you might want to know on the back end. So under race, you've got a lot of different options that expand out. I'm not going to go through all of these. There's absolutely tons of stuff that you can get to, and plenty of support on how to set a lot of this up. I'm not smart enough to remember where everything is. I use this menu search thing all the time. So if I want to make coupons for people, I just start typing in coupons, and it might take me a couple, since there's 4 different options here, but I actually know at this point it's the financial pricing coupons. And so I can add a coupon. If I want to make a coupon for whatever, fire sale, and the discount is 50% off. And I want it to go towards per registration, and it starts and it ends today, 12 a.m. to whatever, 2 p.m. And it applies to race registration fees, and only 5 people can use it. And so now it's in there. So again, it's a super easy way to go in and make coupons for your race if you need to. And this is 50% off for 5 people, so you could easily do a marketing campaign for a fire sale online. But some other things that you will need to know, especially as a timer, is this Race Day Tools tab. So the Race Day Tools, you have all of your stuff that you'll be using as a timer. You can assign bibs, you can assign corrals, you can set up check-in, you can set up race joy. So when you're timing out of race day scoring, you don't need to go in and select and set up race divisions. Those push up from race day scoring. You have the ability to go and look at your results. If you have a virtual event going on, you can set up or change or edit your virtual and challenge results. And then you have an on-site registration option as well. So one thing that I think is really important is the notification side. And so if I go in and type text up here, you can actually go in and customize results notification. Ooh, sorry. I clicked the wrong one. Set up results notifications. I apologize. So under setup here, you can allow participants to sign up for text and email results. And so if you do this, what that does is during the registration process for athletes, they're asked, do you want to receive text or email notifications? In doing that, what you're doing, it auto sets up the approvals to receive those notifications. So when John registers, he says, yes, I want to receive a text and email. And then he gets his bib assigned, he goes out and runs. After he finishes, if you're live streaming the data back up through Race Day Scoring to our results platform, it tags that result to his profile and auto sends a text and email approximately 30 to 45 seconds after he finishes to like it sends it out to all finishers. So it's not at the culmination of everything, it's as people are finishing. So they're live receiving these, and this is included in the processing fee. Now, if you want to upsell that to your events as something that you do, that's completely up to you. But in terms of RunSignup fees, those text and email notifications are covered within the processing fees, so it's not an additional charge. This is also where you can set up different results kiosks, links, things like that. And as you come in, it'll say results set ID here. And as we start pushing up results, there will be links to those result sets. We don't have any results set up since we're just now setting up the event itself. So again, you can go in and set up your race joy. And let's see, if we want to just go in and register someone, again, this is a fake race, so I do need to go in and take it out of draft mode. So I'm going to go back into the wizard, uncheck, save as draft. And so now, if I go back to here, hit refresh, now that tag is gone, or that flag is gone. Some other things on the dashboard that I think are very helpful. Again, these aren't so much timing things yet. We'll get into those momentarily. But things like being able to provide race directors with more information and more tools makes you a better timer, and it makes you more marketable as a timer. And if you're not doing that, if you're just showing up and slinging mats, are you really providing a service that's different than someone else? So the way to separate yourself is by knowing how to use a lot of these tools to help make the race director's life easier. One of the ways you can do that is inventories. So there's inventories here that's giveaway inventory. It's a super easy setup. I usually don't use this giveaway inventory side because it's just by event. I go to switch to advanced setup. And so what this does is it allows you to say, you can call your race director and say, how many smalls did you order? 45? Perfect. All right, what about mediums? 50? And we can go through all of these. So now, once these shirt sizes are gone, nobody can choose those. So that's awesome. So what we've got here, though, is, and people are registering in here. Matt, is that you? Somebody might have gone in, because this is a live event now. So if you guys want to go in and register yourselves, or you're more than welcome to. You do not need to at all, though. But you can see 2 people registered just now, and someone registered for a small and somebody registered for a medium because our inventories are less than our total quantities. Now, if you do go in and set this up, you do need to make sure that you go back. You can either go into the race wizard, or you can go into the, let's see, giveaways and add-ons and giveaways. Either one is fine, but you need to add a no shirt option to both of those. And the reason being, the reason being is if all of the shirts are gone, you will actually hang people up and they won't be able to register. So you do not have to put an inventory in for the no shirts. You can, but you do not have to. So we can go back in, and if I want to select this no shirt option now, and we would say like whatever, 10,000. So the benefit here is you're managing those expectations. So if somebody registers late, they don't think they're getting a small shirt when you don't have any more. If you have extras, that's fine, but running out on someone who just registered and somebody that registered 3 months ago that doesn't get their shirt is not a way to make friends. And if you're helping with the registration process, it's a really, really good idea to understand how this works, because the race director is going to look to you to set things up or answer questions. And turning off T-shirt registration or being able to choose T-shirts, 3 days in advance is all well and good, but you just have a whole lot of people now that have to go to the late registration table, and it can really back things up at your event because you just have a random table with leftover shirts and no clear clearly defined way of how you're going to hand those out. So I know it's a little bit different, but once you get the hang of using the giveaway inventories, it is a really, really smooth process. A couple other things on the back end. Again, we've already been through race day tools. Participants, this is where you would look at your participants. So if I go in, let's see who registered. Jane Doe and Matt Avery. So Matt Avery, sorry. So it was Matt in the back. So thank you for registering some people, Matt. I appreciate it. And so also, if it's a second year event, one thing that a lot of race directors don't know is under the search change event, you can actually toggle through previous years. They'll panic and say, where's last year's data? It's all right here. No big deal. All of their data is stacked to help with their SEO. So all of it's here. They just need to go down further. There would be a 5K, 10K for 2020, 5K for 2019, and so on and so forth. If you want to see additional information in this report, you would just go under report options and customize view. And we can pick from all columns and we can see whatever date of birth in there. So we'll update the report. And now we can see birth date is now in the report. On the exports, you can download the report as a CSV. You can download a report as a PDF. You can also do something that I think is really nice, and that is build bib labels. And all you do is pop in questions as needed. So, and you can set the output to a full column before moving on. You can choose different types. And if you want more fields, all you have to do is type in another question mark, and it'll bring up another field, and you can pick whatever you want to. Registration date. So, and you can include a barcode number if you really want to. So if I hit generate bib number or bib labels, it'll bring up a PDF document. My computer's running really slow today. Whenever I have my camera on, it runs really slowly. So you can see the 2 people that have registered with that extra field that we had in there. And so this will continue on, and all you have to do is hit print, and it'll say print at 100% with no margins. Don't select the auto fit. So a lot of people don't know about that, and if you are still doing labels on your bibs, it is a really, really easy way of getting that done. So if you want to get out of here, just hit the 3 lines or the hamburger, whatever you want to call it at the top. You've got a whole lot of reports in here that you can go through, and we have plenty of stuff to go through on that if you ever want to learn more. Email marketing side, there are a lot of tools in here. Automated emails is kind of nice. So you can do price increase emails, and it'll let previous participants know that the price is going to go up and encourage them to register. So if you do have previous data in, it is a great way to reach out to that low-hanging fruit. Donations and fundraising, you can set up charity partners and have those donations go directly to the nonprofit, so they're not hitting your books, which in my opinion is great. And so the promotion side, there's a whole lot of links that you can get into. One of the biggest ones, I think, is the referral tracking. And so you can go in and you can set up referral tracking, and we'll allow it, and we'll activate referral refunds. And so what we'll do is we'll say starting anything before whatever random day, this is only going to happen today, we can create a refund that's after 5 people register using a referral code, up to $20 will be refunded to your bank account. And so we won't do one for that, and we'll just hit save settings. So again, these are just some tools that you can use and learn more about and teach your race directors about, to kind of instill more faith and have them coming back to you for questions and answers, so that you're more ingrained. We call it getting sticky. They look to you as the information source. So let's see. All right. We've got all this set up. So now I'm going to see if I can, oh, let's see. We've got a question. Referral rewards that apply across all of the events. Yes. So with this referral reward, if this person registers, or sorry, as this person registers, the first person registers, they'll get a link. They share that out. These people in this event will get that code. They'll share it out to their friends. If they get 4 people to register, they'll get nothing. If they get 2 people to register, they'll get nothing. If they get 5 for either the 5K or the 10K, they get $20 back. If they get 100 people, they get $20 back. They cannot make money with this. So I don't want to make you think you're going to lose millions of dollars or anything like that on this. The normal ROI that, I mean, I've yet to hear of anybody having an ROI under 600 to 700%. So it's usually like a really, really strong way of getting people registered. On average, I would say even on a small event, you would see revenue somewhere in the couple thousands, and you might give out, you know, $40, $60, $100. So it's nominal. Let's see. Yep. There's a lot of other things, but I think now we've got the basic gist of what we're going to do. We also have a couple of people registered. Again, if you get bored and you want to register yourself, you can probably search for the Crisps Test MyLaps event. It is live right now, and it's a whopping $0. So if we see more people populate, we'll get them in. But in the interim, I'm going to shift over to, actually, I'm going to go ahead and check in. What I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to, well, no. The problem is I'm going to have to go back and forth in between 2 computers. So bear with me 1 second. All right. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see my screen. So now what we're going to do is you're going to see how easy race day scoring is to set up when your race is on RunSignup. So we've opened race day scoring. I've hit check for update. My application is live. So I'm just going to hit manage races, import a race already on RunSignup. And keep in mind, I'm logged in. I'm going to have been logged into my personal account, and we set the timer to my personal email that's assigned to my timer account. So race is on or after today till next year. We'll search. I'll put in my password. And so we'll look at events going on. And so let's see, Crisps Test MyLap event right there. Boom, selected. So again, we're not going over a full how to do race day scoring. We're just doing a start to finish. So I'm going to kind of breeze through some of these setup steps, but you'll see how quickly things can be set up, because this is not going to be a very complicated event. We're going to do it really, really simply. So first thing I'm going to do, like we teach you, we're going to go work our way down right here. So participant sync, I'm just going to hit save sync settings. And so fairly shortly, and I might have to, we can keep doing other things, but because we have 2 people registered, this number will populate up to 2. So if we go down to participants, still not in there yet, but if I hit refresh, oh, we got 3 people now. So it looks like Kevin found the 10K. So again, if we go back here, we're now live syncing, 3 people are in there, right? So now we're moving down. We've got streams. I've got a whole lot of streams set up on here. But one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to search. So I don't have the stream that I want, and I'm going to change to all settings here. Normally you go to settings in MyLaps, and I'm going to go to add a stream, and I'm going to call this stream name we're going to do a start finish location. So we'll just call it start finish. And I don't have a decoder here. I actually have a USB scanner, like a bid tech tester. So I'm actually going to put in USB. The stream type, let's just say we're going to go MyLaps Direct. And the timing and scoring location name, when we go in, we'll call it start finish. And our system type is going to be bib tag. So if you're using, normally you're set to 3097 as your listen port. If you happen to be using the MyLaps app, you will need to change this to 3096. If you do end up using the app and race day scoring, and you have questions, reach out to us or to MyLaps. But as I hear it, or as I understand it, they cannot change off of their listen port of 3097 when you're using the app. So we need to change this to 3096 on our end. So we'll go ahead and save that. And so now we have that device in there. We have a start finish location. You know what? We don't need a start. We're going to do a shared start finish. So I'm going to go into my finish, edit settings, change this to start finish, start and finish times. So I need to make sure I select start and finish times. My stream, well, what do we call this? Start finish direct. Looks like, you know what? I might go save this in a different location just to make sure it's the USB one. So when do you want to stop collecting start times? So today, and we're going to do, we have a few more things to set up. So I'm going to just go ahead and go 12:40. See if we can get everything else set up in the next 7 minutes. When do you want to begin collecting finish times? We'll go 12:40:01. So there'll be 2 occurrences here, and I'm going to set my gap factor to something impossibly small just because we're not actually running a 5K. So we'll set it to 3 minutes. If you're going to have a whole lot of people around your start area, and you want to filter things out well in advance, you could also filter things out from whatever 12 a.m. to, we're starting at 12:30, so 12, or we're starting at 12:40 or something like that. So anyways, so we'll do 12:30 p.m. So this is not going to include anything in that range. A lot of times people will not set this up, which is perfectly normal. With open start finish lines, if you have things set up well in advance, you might want to consider it. It's just something to consider. So we'll go back into streams and we'll go back down to the, looks like we have a few start finishes. And so we'll go back to the one we just set up and we can save this as start finish. So now you can see it's red because it's not connected right now. So we've got everything set up. We've got our streams, our timing location is set up. Our main stream is going into that. Now, keep in mind, if you've got backup mats, they don't go into backup streams. That is not what this is used for. If you hover over it, it says you should generally not assign ship system as backup streams. So scored events, we can click this nice little quick setup button and it makes our 5K and our 10K. Now we're going to set this to chip time and start finish to start finish. That looks good. We set our actual start time to 12:15. So, oh well, that won't matter. We'll set this to chip time. And let's see, everything else is fine. We can set the actual start time later. So now we have 2 scored events. We're not going to do corrals. If you want to do corrals, you can just go in and manually add a corral and whatever wave 1, and you can set these start. You can set it's not a time start, and you can set it to whatever time that corral goes off. For this scenario, we're not going to set corrals. And just like we're not going to set segments. But if you say you have a triathlon, you can go in and select this, and you just add a segment name, and you just stack these on top of each other. We've done a review on segments previously. If you do have questions about that, just let me know, and we can. I can give you the link so you can review how to set up segments.
Hey,
so
Chris,
the next thing,
just
normally,
one thing.
Yep.
One thing quick here on the segment stuff. The only time it's really needed for a simple race, quote unquote, is if you do have to set that endpoint occurrence to use. If you're doing a multi-lap, like a 5K, 10K, the 10K is 2 laps of the course, and the 5K is 1 lap. You would just flip this to the 10K, switch the endpoint occurrence to 3, including the start for the 10K.
Yep. And so in that scenario, so let's just go ahead and make this assumption. Let's say this is a 5K loop. And so the 10K does have to do 2 laps of the loop, and they are going to run over the start finish line. So in this scenario, we would actually say that our timing locations, that they're going to hit this not 2 times. You would want the max number of occurrences. So honestly, in my scenario here, I would create 2 different, and I would have a start finish 5K and a start finish 10K, just because I might want separate filters by race. If you don't care, you can quite literally set this to the number of occurrences being 3, even though in your scored events, in your segments, if you go into your 5K, and this is what Matt was talking about, the first time around, first read is their start. Their second time around, when they cross the mat the second time, is the 5K finish. So that's all right. So for the 10K, first time is a start, and the third time is the finish. Does anybody have any questions on that? And if you wanted to do segments, you could easily do a segment here that is first 5K, and you could set this to 5 kilometers. Cumulative distance so far is 5 kilometers. We'll leave it at minutes per mile, that's fine. Start, finish, first, start, finish, second. Then we would add a second 5K. Five kilometers segment and 10 kilometers total. So it's adding to that cumulative distance. And so where's my starting point? It's the start finish, the second read, and the end point's the third read. Are there any questions on that? I'm not seeing any come in. So cool. So now we'll go into age group and team classifications. So 2 things really you need to set here, and that's your overall finishers, or your overall like top finisher categories, like your overall masters categories, and then your age groups. So it does matter what you have selected on this side. So if I'm on 5K and I go to set top finishers, I would go to add another band, and normally it's just called overall. Overall, remember your starting age is the age at which it's considered. We're going to score top finishers by chip time in this scenario. We're going to have 3 males and 3 females. We don't want them in their age groups. Save, and now you can see the overall is back there. So if I go to 10K now and I hit set top finishers, I don't have anything in here. So if I wanted overall, all this to stay the same, and then maybe I wanted masters. So the starting age is 40 and the priority is 2. So this is the second one that's looked at. And in this scenario, maybe we only want 1 in each, and we wanted to allow them to jump. So a 40-year-old overall would win first place. And so after the top 3, the next 40-year-old is going to win Masters. So now you can see we have two different categories here, overall and Masters. So, but we don't have the age group set up yet. So we're going to go in and do a range insert. And I am quite literally just going to change a couple things just to show that you can. So I want 5-year age groups, which gives you a breakdown like this. 10-year-old starting age, and I want this to go to 59. And boom. So now we have those, and I hit save. All of those are saved. Sometimes people want a single insert, and they want an either of 0 to 99, or maybe they just want, actually, we'll just keep it simple. We'll leave it that out for right now. But anyways, you can save a non, like an either male or female, and set your ages to whatever you want to if you have specific categories. So range insert, we'll just not change anything for the 10K and hit save. And so that's really it. We don't need to do anything. We're going to leave all of this as is for right now. And what we're going to do is, the only other thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up timing and scoring. And actually, I'm going to check some people in real quick so that you guys can see what this looks like. So you can see there's 3 people in here. And I'm going to have to switch back to my other computer. Trying to think of the best way of, because I'm not going to be able to display it on there, but give me 1 sec. I'm going to switch over to the other computer. Switch presenter. All righty. So now we're back onto this screen. So we're back onto our registration page. Sorry for all the back and forth. We have a lot of different technology that's being used right now. Again, normally you're not doing this on race morning. It's being done over the course of a year. So we're going to go into race day tools, and some tools that you can use is, if we want to assign bibs, we can click assign bibs, assign bib numbers to time of registration, and we'll go 1 to 300, share with the 10K. We just got one big group of bibs, 1 to 300. And then we click assign bib numbers to people that are already registered. So all this does is it assigns bib numbers to people in the order in which they registered. So if I go to, back to our participant list, we can see Jane Doe registered first, Matt second, and Kevin third. So we have bib numbers in there. Let's say you wanted to do this differently. You don't need to do anything more, like you haven't sent out emails or anything like that. You know what? I do not like those bib numbers. Clearing out the 5K. You know what we need to do? We need to turn off our automated. So we turned off our automated bib numbers, and now let's clear them. 5K. 10K. And so now if I go into participants and view participants, oh, looks like Angel's just found it as well. So you see no bib numbers in there now. So you can set up different ways. Do you guys need to see other ways of assigning bib numbers? If you do, pop that into the questions. Otherwise, I'm going to go into dynamic. I think most of you are are pretty good with technology and can play around with those settings, especially if you make your own test event. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but in my opinion, the coolest way is dynamically with QR codes. I get a lot of questions about just general info on the QR codes. Two things. One, talk to your bib manufacturer. They're going to be the ones that you're going to work with, and they can create custom QR codes that point. So all that happens is this QR code points at this number. And so you'll see what happens as we scan those in. You do not want to get fancy. Somebody asked me, oh, can I do all this custom stuff? I've learned from experience. The answer is no. I was like, oh, I'm going to make mine blue and yellow or something like that. It worked out horribly. It just didn't read well. And so you want to keep it black print on white. Just give yourself space on your bib to do this. And I think the minimum size requirements are 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. I usually give at least that much, if not 3/4 inch to 1 inch square. So most people are used to seeing these on things. It's not really an eyesore anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our, we're going to go into our settings for our race day tools. We're going to turn on the check-in app. So we're going to go into race day check-in. Just making sure nobody wanted to see anything else. Okay, cool. So we're not really going to do web check-in. We're just going to go straight into the mobile app. And so shared password, we'll make it like password 1 or something like that. I don't know if it'll even allow this. It might not. So we'll start and we'll disable it, whatever, a couple days from now. See if it'll allow password 1. It might be too simple of a password. Nope. So we'll just do, let's see, RSU rocks 99. So I usually put the password hint in there as the actual password because I am not smart enough to remember different passwords. This is only something that's put into your device, whatever devices you're using for check-in. And in order for your check-in app to work, these settings do have to be turned on. So I've got my phone sitting right here. So hi, everybody. See, it's like, okay, so I have a tablet and I'm going to see if I can do all of this. So we're going to go in and we're going to look up, look at that, crisp bib assignment test. Oh, no, we're looking for crisps. There we are. See, I have too many test events on here. Crisp test MyLap event. That's what we're looking for. So the password is, again, it's the RSU rocks.
Hey, Chris, while you're on this, just another thing to notice, there is a quick link right there when you're typing in the password, if you did forget it, to this dashboard page. So if you write that password hint in there, in the check-in app itself is a little blue link where you can view this dashboard page in case you forgot it and need to quickly navigate to that.
See, the developers listen to people like me that can't remember things. And they help us be smarter than we actually are. So as you can see, we've got everybody in here and trying to see everything at once. So we've got the 4 people registered. If more people register, they will populate, or you can pull down and it'll refresh. So a couple things I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to go in and I'm going to change some of the settings. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go and show you on the home page. I'm going to go into settings here. And I've changed my identifier to Fire1. That's important because it'll help me distinguish on these settings in the check-in stats, because nobody's checked in yet. If I don't change it, it'll show up as Android. And all of the Fires will show up as Android. And all the Androids will show up as Android. And that's it. And all the iOS devices will show up as iOS. So if you change their name, you can actually divvy out who checked in, how many, over what period of time. So I'll go back in, still only have 4 people. I'm going to go in, I'm going to go to settings. So I usually turn on my check-in app about 3 or 4 days before the event and start playing around with settings to make sure they're as I want. And to be honest, I never edit the default preset. Why? Because I can't remember if I've edited the default preset. So I'm going to go to add a preset, and I'm going to call it whatever, runner. Bib number is not optional. It's required. Group bib number is skipped. All of these things look good, but I do want to auto show bib or auto show camera on bib assignment. All right. So these I can't turn off and on. Bib number is on. Chip number I don't care about seeing. If you need to see some of these, you can. I usually turn a lot of this stuff off just to make it easier. If you have corrals, you might want to have that in there. Let's see. If I don't want to allow people to uncheck people in or clear bibs. And again, we have plenty of how-tos on these as well. So I have prevent duplicate bibs and I have validate bibs. So everything looks good. So I'm going to save it. So the thing to remember right now is I've created that preset right here, but nothing's been done. So I actually have to use the preset. So I set the 5K and the 10K to use the preset. Visible events, 5K and 10K are visible. If you have a virtual event and you don't want to allow them to pick up at packet pickup, you could turn that off so they just don't show up when you search for them. So hide checked in participants. A lot of folks do this because they have tons of participants. They don't want to search for people that have already been checked in. And then bib number and check-in status are in there as well. So the way you don't need to do this for every single device that you're using for check-in, is you click upload configuration. And if I just call this MyLaps, and I do politely request that none of you guys go into the check-in app and use my password while we're doing this. After we're done, I could care less, but don't go in and foul around with things right now. Again, RSU Rocks 99 is the password for it if you do want to play around with it later. But you can see that my presets are now in there. So if you do log into your device and go in to your device and go to settings, now all you have to do is scroll to the bottom and click use MyLaps, and you'll see these settings in there. So now we have information in here. Let's see if I can do all of this at once. This is going to be interesting in terms of holding it, but we'll see what we can do. Let's see, where's the camera? Where's on that side? All right. So, sorry guys, just trying to get everything so I can scan someone in. So Andrew just signed up for the 10K. We're going to click on you. And you can see I have all of his information in there. So I hit check in and the camera is going to pop up. You can see that right there. So nothing's underneath. So I'm about to put this down underneath. See how that assigned? Pretty cool. So now I just hit assign. Now, if I go back into the participants, view participants, so it hasn't refreshed yet, but very shortly, it'll push that up. My internet on this Fire runs really, really slowly. So I've got that in and everything's on. So I'm gonna just really, really quickly go ahead and assign bib numbers to, let's see, Matt's gonna get 2002. And we'll do, Jane's gonna have a bib that's all fouled up. So we'll manually enter hers so you can just see how that works. It's so dark underneath there. So we'll say Jane, check in, and oh no, we can't get it to work for some reason or another. It still brings up this screen. So we can manually go into bib number and we'll type in 347, assign. So all of that is in there and should be good. So I am going to, we don't need this part of the multimedia anymore. So those people are checked in. Again, this Fire that I have, it's just so slow to connect to the internet. But as you can see, I just hit refresh again. It pushed up those participants. All right, so we've got everybody checked in, and this can be happening all at the same time. So here we go. Buckle up. We're going back to my other computer. This should be the last switch, I believe. Matt, do we have any other questions while I'm switching over?
No, there was one thing I noticed while I was registering. I wasn't sure if this was intentional or not, but I didn't get the notice to sign up for result notifications. And I checked the page. It looks like we didn't save that. I wasn't sure if you wanted to download the
whoops.
That's okay. I just wanted to bring that up that wasn't in there. So I don't know if you wanted to do a quick show and tell on how to manually like pick out result notifications afterwards, or where a person would do that.
Yeah, we can. I tell you what, let's.
Lunchtime.
Yeah, we're going pretty good on time, and I actually want to get to the timing part. But we can, if we, I'm doing a tips and tricks in. I have to remember what day it is. Is it next week? I think it's next week. That, or no, 2 weeks. We're doing a tips and tricks, and I can cover that one in that session. So timing scoring or race day scoring has just been sitting here, right? I haven't clicked on anything, but we have our participants sync in, and now you can see that this data just came in. I didn't have to do anything. So if someone else were to register, Matt, or you, or hold on one sec. Let's. Do you want to turn that on real quick and register, or actually it doesn't really matter. Do you want to register another person real quick so I can just see what this looks like?
Yeah.
So Matt's on the back end, just registering like a normal person. And so this sync happens every, I don't know, 15 to 30 seconds or so. And I can talk you through when I actually assign that, that bib number, or if periodically you just want to hit the refresh button, you can. So I'm going to go ahead and do one other thing while we're waiting, and that is I'm going to open up timing and scoring. In a large event, sorry, Angel's got a question. In a large event, searching for the person's name prior to bib assignment be the most efficient way? Yeah, actually, Angel, the best way in a large event is sending out a pre-race email, and you can put a replacement tag in our system. You can put a replacement tag of a QR code and or a barcode that points to the registration ID. And where we were typing in the person's name or scrolling up and down, there's actually a camera in the top right that you can click. And if you click that, it's looking for a barcode or a QR code that points at their registration ID. And it is super, super efficient. So I'm just going to start a new event here. Have it bib tag. So let's see. Add a location. Remember, we called our location start finish. Oh, see, there you go. And if you don't want to use the check-in app for some reason, and you need, maybe this person just signed up, grabbed a bib and went, you can use the check-in app after the fact. It still bidirectionally syncs. We'll do that in a second. How about that? I will show you how that works momentarily. So we're back into timing and scoring. If we go into our timing locations, you can see we named our timing location, or sorry, not our timing location, our stream. The stream expectation is going to be that it is start finish. So start finish it is, everything looks right. So we're going to go to add a device. We've got our USB reader in there. We're going to assign it. We'll use an exporter. I always add 2 exporters every single time. And it's going to get mad at me. Yep, because I don't have it connected yet. All right, so you can set your user-defined file to wherever you want it to go. I don't know what most people's normal process is, but I would always suggest having 2, user-defined and TCP/IP. If you're planning to use TCP/IP connections, I set this to autosave, and usually at 15 seconds, and append to existing file, and I usually save it as a CSV, just because it's easier for me to look at after the fact. And I hit apply and OK. And so now make sure both of those are connected, and I'm going to go ahead and act like we're going to start the day of timing. So we set our reads, you go to reads and hit starting connector. It's going to tell us that we're not connected. Might take it a second, but it'll give us a little red flag, and it'll say we're not connected. There we go, disconnected, connected. So now this is ready. We can press play. No data is in here. So I should probably go in and change some of the filters for start finishes, since we're a lot later than we were going to be. Let's see. So it's 1:05, so we're going to set this to 1:07. That way we just get some start reads and some finish reads. All right.
Check additional filter before you move on.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to just delete that filter.
Yeah.
Ooh. So I'm just going to delete that except times between, because a lot of people don't set those up. We don't really need it. I am going to read through some people really quickly. So let's see, we've got one read across, that was 1003. Go ahead and click on this. So as you can see, some data is coming in. All right. So let's see. All right. So now we got some data in. We've got some start reads in. You can see occurrence 1. So 4 of 4 people are, but wait a minute. We have 5 people. We have 5 reads, and I had 5 bibs that I pushed across. Oh, but remember, we had one person that didn't have a bib number. So if you go into the ignored reads, if you go into all the reads, you'll see 351 was an unknown bib or chip. So we'll come back to that in a second. We're going to keep timing. We're going to act like we had no clue who that person is, and we'll find them at the finish line. So what do we set this to? 3 minutes? I feel like I have to tell jokes again for another minute or two. So everything's pushing through. We've got all of our information coming out of timing and scoring. We can see that live stream is set because we have our stream name, start finish, is exactly our location name is here. So if we go back, and again, I'm just going through other things because we put a 3-minute gap factor. And so
why don't you set up the autosaves for results?
Oh yeah, we can do that. Yeah, so we'll go into reports. And if you look at reports, you have export actions on the H group reports, but you have 2 additional quick publish and autosave settings for these others. So if we go to autosave settings for the 10K, we can click on run signup results. And we're going to set everything. I usually go ahead and put in run signup into there. And I want to send both splits to run signup. So all I have to do is hit add stream and save settings. I'm going to do the 5K. We'll put something different in there just so you can see it. And see how there's no splits? We didn't set up any splits for the 5K. That's why. So we'll add stream and save settings. So now we have both of these going. You can see the auto saves are 2. And if we go down a bit, we can see that we have both of these running. Report autosave, we can pause each one of these individually as needed. So, but if we go back into our reports and go and view the, oh, it opened on another, sorry. It's opening on another window and then closing itself down. Sorry, I've got multiple screens going, so I apologize. Well, while that's going, sorry, I've got it opening onto another screen and can't get it to come down. I think it's going to come down now. Maybe I can just pull it. There it is. So it's got a link now in here. So I can minimize that. See other things. So no real data is in there yet, but we have 5K and 10K. We'll come back to that in a second. I think it's probably been 3 minutes. So 1306, 1310. Yep. All right. So let's go across the line with some additional people. So we'll go back across. 351 just came back across. So we should see raw reads go up to 6 here momentarily and 2 more ignored. So 347 is coming back across. And keep in mind, those ignored reads aren't coming over here into scored. So somebody's actually finished now. Jane Doe finished. So we got 1001 crossing the line right now. It does take, because remember, it's saving every few seconds. So it will take a second for it to all pull in. So here's the thing. Remember, one of these people is in the 5K, where the second read equals the finish, Jane Doe. The rest of these three people, 1001, 2, and 3, are in the 10K. So if I open up the 5K and I go to in progress, there's nobody in progress. If I go to finishers, I can see Jane Doe finished. If I go in, all of the 10Kers are in progress right now. But I can click on Angel and I can see both of his reads. Right? So they've got to hit the line one more time because we set that 10K up a little bit differently. So another thing you can do is you can look at these scored reads by location. So by event, you can see there's 2 reads for the 5K and 2 reads to the 10K, or by occurrence. Occurrence 1, 4 people have been across once, 4 people have been across twice. So we do have to wait until like another minute and a half or so, 2 minutes. But what I can do is I can go here to the 5K, and you see how I didn't click anything. I didn't hit refresh or anything like that. And Jane Doe from Moorestown, New Jersey, has a time of 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Keep in mind, we're sitting here doing this all kind of live, so that's why their time's so short. But so Jane Doe, if I click in, Jane Doe's got all of her information, an editable certificate that you guys can update. All of this stuff is in here, right? So we're gonna read these other 3 people. Did you, by chance, what event was that new person in? 10K, okay. So we'll let all of them finish. We still have,
Hey, Chris, we got a good question. Adam is wondering about, will the 10K live results show the first split online?
Yeah, so what you can do there is one of 2 things. So let me go to reports. So and this will, give me 1 second. Let's go back to results, go back to 10K. And so the reason why they're not up yet is because on our overall report here, we go to actions and edit. Under the filters, it's not showing non-finishers. So if I go in and look at the overall report for the 5K, I see people in there, right? If I go to the overall 10K, nobody's in there. However, if I change this to show non-finishers and hit save, that is a really good question. And I click on this overall report, you can see all these people are DNF, but I've got times in there now. And I believe it might. So that is something you need to save in advance. So yes, but what we can do is we can actually go to actions and duplicate. If we're like, oh crap, that's what I want it to do. So all this is set up correctly now. Save report. So I can actually delete this one. Now I've got this report in that has never been saved, and my settings will be to show non-finishers. And so I can go to autosave.
I think you might have just not waited long enough. We have like a 30 seconds before.
Oh, is that what it is?
Update. I think that's all it was, but this is still a good demonstration.
Like most timers, I'm super impatient. But we can see 10K overall results and not report in there. So now you can see all their times and paces. So this is their overall chip time and pace right here. So we've waited long enough. We can go in and get the additional reads for these folks. So I'm going to run all 5 bibs across again. So there was 1, there was 2, there was 3, there was 4, and that was 5. So in 1 second, there it is. So everybody's now finished. But again, keep in mind, we still have one guy, 351, that's an unknown runner. So if I go into my backend, and if I use the check-in app, or if I just went in to RunSignup and I edited the registration, what bib number was that? 351? So you could do it in the check-in app, you could do it in race day scoring, you could do it in whatever. So again, keep in mind, oh, now we've got 5, still have 2 ignored reads. But if you look, now I've got somebody that's 351 in race day scoring. And now also, if I go into hit refresh on this, look at that. I've got a Masters winner, got my top 3 overall, I got my overall chip time, and I can also go in here, let's say I don't want gender place in there, and I want this to be, you can change this in a lot of different places, but I want that to be overall time and overall pace. And whatever else you want to do, we'll just go ahead and save it. And so now it doesn't have that placement anymore, and it has overall time and overall place. Yeah, that was a really good question about pushing that up. So, all right, great, it's online. Well, how do you get it out of here? We can go to reports, and your overall reports, normally you're not printing. Your age group reports normally are what you're printing. So if you click on this, you can kind of see the breakdown of your overall and masters. It'll also have all of your age groups. We just don't have enough people in. But what I normally suggest for people to do for their age group report is go in and edit and actually set up their filters to 3. And that way, when they print, they'll only print out the top 3 in each age group. And if you need to export, you can export to PDF. You can just straight print, HTML, whatever you want to do. And so that's the basic breakdown of, and just so we're clear, whoever Jane Doe, I guess, was in the 5K, she crossed the finish line again with all the 10Kers. You can see if we go in, Jane Doe's 3rd read was not used in segments, and a better read was selected. So she crossed the finish line a few more times. So just because you're getting things that are ignored doesn't mean anything's wrong. Are there any other questions? We went through a ton of stuff. Oh, and if I want to go back into the back end of things, I can also say under race day tools, results, and edit results, and I can see, oh, you know what? This one says overall report, and this one says overall results. Now, granted, this might break it since I still have. I'm gonna shut down my autosaves. I'm gonna pause all of them since everyone's finished, so you can see no reports are autosaving. The reason why I'm going to do that is because I want this to be 5K overall results, so it kind of matches this. You know, I want everything to look good. So all I have to do under race day tools, results, and edit results, I just go in and edit the metadata, overall results. Maybe I don't want this email. Or maybe I don't want the result source to say go race. Maybe I want to say so what that does is if I go back into the results page, timing services provided by Hi Guys. And if I look at the drop down, it says 5K overall results and 10K overall results. All right. Any questions or anything that you think I should cover as well? We've actually did a pretty good job of using up the entire time. I thought we might be done a little bit earlier, but nope.
I think I covered everything that I could think of. It's really good.
Cool.
Any other questions anyone have? Feel free to write it in.
And if you have additional streams, you would create additional streams. If you had additional timing locations, you know, you would add a location and have more timing locations, assign those streams to them. Let's say you missed a read. So let's say I'm actually going to delete a couple reads. Let's see. Not something I would suggest, but I'm just going to start deleting some of 347's reads. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to delete out 347's finish read. So now we likely have, it might pull it back in, honestly, since I'm still connected. Nope, cool. All right, so we still have one person in progress, and that's Jane Doe, number 347. So, all right, we missed 347's read. So what I would do is you go in to raw reads, and I would just double check 347. Did we really? Yep, we only have a start read for. Man, that stinks. All right, so select my timing device, start finish, type in 347, the bib number. Date is today, that's pretty easy. So finished in whatever, 1:25 p.m. Now it hit submit reads. It takes a second for it to populate, but then once it's in there, you can see it's used. And Jane Doe has finished, 0 in progress. And so now, if we go back to here, might have to hit refresh so the data refreshes. That's giving me, wait 1 sec. Overall report times 1810. So I just think it hasn't deleted this information yet. I might actually have to clear that report. Normally you're not deleting people's times out and then repushing. But anyways, that would be where you're entering in new data. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I've got a USB scanner from MyLaps. We use it for packet pickup a lot of times, or chip checks as people are walking out of the expo. So it looks like. All right. Anything else? I think we've answered everything. So cool. Well, if you guys do have any additional questions, oh, I'm glad I'm on. I think I'm on this. Which computer am I showing now? Nope. Need to change the presenter again. All right. So we'll go back to here. Some things to know. There are 2 upcoming trainings. So our symposium is July 21, 22. However, on July 20th, we do have 2 certification programs that we're doing from 8:30 until noon Eastern is going to be a race day scoring certification, which will, if you haven't used race day scoring and you were watching me click things and you're like, oh, that looks easy, and then you start playing with it yourself and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing quite yet, that would be a great thing to jump into. There's also, right after that, a Race Joy certification. And if you've never played with Race Joy, it's an awesome tool to have in your arsenal as a timer for things you can provide out to your race directors. And then obviously 21, 22, we're doing the hopefully final virtual symposium. Right now, we are in process of planning our winter symposium back down in the Orlando area. So you're getting excited about being at in-person events and in-person symposiums again. So without further ado, I don't think we having anything. Yeah, and if you're already certified, you're more than welcome to join in. It's no problem if you just want to brush up. However, we are going to be focused on people that are very new and just learning. So we're not going to do deep dives and advanced certifications or anything like that. But if you do have advanced questions, feel free to reach out to me, Crisp at RunSignup.com, or you can get up with Matt Avery. I think he usually goes with Race Day, or Avery at RunSignup.com. So thanks. If there's no other questions, appreciate your time. And I know it was a long one. We'll get back from here on out. We should be back to our normal 20 to 30-minute Timer Tip Tuesdays. And we're off next week for Timer Tip Tuesdays. The following week, we're going to be doing a quick tips and tricks, some of which we had time to do today. But we'll be going through more of those for using the race day tools. So thanks so much, and hope all of you have a great rest of your day.